Well, it's dark when you get here, it's dark when you leave. I think that's kind of how I want to see it. I don't think anyone needs to see Vegas in daylight. All right, back with the car. Moment of truth. Let's see if Alex will let me a present. Battery. Click. Oh! She's not dead. Cool. Well, we're gonna get going. Pop the hood, check the oil. Trying to get the dipstick stuck. Head out into the night. It's 3 a.m. My goal is to try to stay on Eastern Standard Time. So I try to go to bed early, wake up early, so I don't lose too much time, too much sleep. But yeah, car looks good. Make sure there's nothing pouring out from under it. Nope. Yeah. Still good. Still good. So let's get out of here. Welcome to day 2. She's alive. All right, welcome back to the morning run. So it's, now it's around 4 a.m. I'm out of Vegas, running down the mountain by, the Hoover Dam area, Boulder City. And man, I kind of wish I could see this, but it's a little bit of the sacrifice you get from leaving early. But roads are clear, it's pretty cool, chilly. Car's still running great. Another thing I do for kind of night runs like this is when I'm looking at Waze, I'm also looking at the contours of the roads. People don't always, you get used to the roads around, where you're used to driving and the local highways and whatnot, but you're not always used to, new areas, new roads, especially when you're traveling at a slightly higher speed. It's good to anticipate and know what the curves and corners ahead of you are. So, just a glance, just something to kind of take into consideration when you're bombing down the highway or whatnot. But, pretty morning. The goal is, I think I said before, Oklahoma City. It's about 1,100 miles. It should put me there around 5 o'clock, which is a little bit early. So, I don't know. I think I might go past that if I can find a hotel or something. So it's gonna be a long day. It's always weird starting this early and then thinking the sun's about to come up and it doesn't. So we're gonna hammer down here for a little bit, put some of these miles behind us, and maybe get around the Albuquerque area this morning. Alright, I'm out of Waze country, and I'm getting some radar. I don't know where he's at though, unless he's behind me. Or he's up here. Huh. It's a pretty strong signal. You're that weird light where you can't really see much just because the sun's coming up. And I've been going quick enough where there shouldn't be any cars behind me, so I've been staring in my rearview mirror to see what the lights are back there. It doesn't really seem to be catching up. We'll see. So it is morning, and we've just gone through Flagstaff, heading, I guess, east towards Albuquerque. And I think I'm confident enough to go through the things that I like and I don't like about this car. So again, 2000 or 2001 540i, leather, seats, automatic, blah, blah, blah. This is not a manual car. It's not an M5. It's just a standard, E39 540 Touring. So let's talk about the good things first. The power band. The power band's great. It's absolutely perfectly geared for these highway runs. It is a 5-speed. I like the power and the torque, but I kind of like it as it builds. If you put your foot down and it downshifts, it doesn't really throw you back in your seat. But if you keep it in 5th gear and just put your foot down enough to unlock the torque converter, just to kind of waft it down the highway, especially when the road's smooth, it really does pick up and go from 70 all the way into the triple digits. I mean, it pulls and pulls and pulls, and it stays planted and smooth as well. I really feel like this is a very slippery car. It feels planted at speeds, which is pretty important when you're doing runs like this. The other thing I like is how quiet it is. I'm not really talking very loud or yelling. This is a standard I think lots of presenters use when talking about brand new cars, or cars that are a couple years old, not cars that are almost 20, 21 years old. And this is a 21-year-old car with, by the time I'm done with it, it's going to have over 188,000 miles, and it sounds quiet. I can just talk normally. It is windy out here in Arizona right now, so you can't really. It's not the best test, but it's pretty good. And the last thing I like is the fuel mileage. I mean, I'm getting 21, 22 miles per gallon. That's great, and really having a car that can at least safely travel at higher speeds and has decent fuel mileage on trips like this really make it more enjoyable. You're not stopping every 230 miles or getting 10 miles per gallon with a headwind like I am with my Land Cruiser, or I have with a previous 4Runner V8. It just makes the trip that much more enjoyable. Let's talk about things I don't like so much. I said I like the seats, but I don't like the headrests. You really have to lean back to even be able to utilize them at all. They're kind of useless. They do tilt a little bit, but I mean, who drives like this? This doesn't make any sense. The headrests that I have, the normal shaped ones in the E36, I find are much better. So it's not the biggest thing in the world, but for a long distance highway cruiser, that would be nice. Another thing I don't really enjoy are the mirrors. They're kind of small, and no matter how I adjust them, I just can't get them right for this kind of trip. If I adjust them from my blind spot, I can't really see behind me, and they're small. I get it; they look fine, but I'm not a fan of them. The other thing is the stereo infotainment system. I'm not talking about the GPS. I'm just talking about the stereo system, sound system itself. And its usability is garbage. I really can't figure it out. It's not the worst thing in the world, but the reception of the radio isn't that great, and it's pretty annoying to use. And again, and the last thing is there's really only one 12-volt outlet. Luckily, I brought the splitter. I can't really complain about an early 2000s car for that type of reason, but it is something for me to gripe about. Oh, here is the last thing: the storage. There is this car was equipped with the car phone option, and there's nothing here. It looks like a box, but it doesn't lift up or do anything. It slides forward to accommodate your elbow, but other than that, it's useless. So you have to use the glove box or the side pockets. Obviously, the cup holders are useless, but beggars can't be choosers. So that's where I am in the trip. Again, I don't want to jinx it. Car's still doing great. I have about 800 or so miles left for Oklahoma City. That's the goal for today, and we keep plugging on. Oh. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see if... Oh. Nope. That ain't gonna work, I don't think. Let's just gonna put that back right there. Awesome. So you learn something every day. So I guess it's not a totally broken nozzle, it's the breakaway system that, you know, obviously when people drive away with the damn thing in, it is to prevent that. So we're going back to pump 8. I mean, this is the kind of shit, man. Imagine if you were doing a cannonball or something where... Driving nuts. Alright, windshield wiper fluid, add some of that. We got the gas pump going. I'm gonna put in some more seafoam. It's wonderful. I feel like they just bought this station. But it's always interesting to stop at the less interesting stations along the way just to see what you get. And I'm not getting a lot. Me, yeah, I want to go take a photo of the car out here in the field. Also me, left the fucking gas cap. Great, wonderful. Well, we had our first mishap. I was doing too many things at one time and thought it'd be fun to get a picture of the car, an interesting stretch of road, and left the damn gas cap on the little gas cap clip, and shoo, she gone. She is gone. I saw it happen too. Great. Guess I don't need that. So yeah, that was my fault. I lost the gas cap. Between the pump handle breaking off my hand and all the other shit that was going on there, I kind of forgot to put it back on. I've done this before, you know. The French car collector on Instagram was giving me shit for not, you know, putting it in the little holder. So I put it in the little holder, and then I forgot to take it out of the little holder. And then I was going down the road, and I heard this ba-dum-bum. And then I heard the flap close. I'm like, there's the gas cap. And I saw it spinning off into the field. So it's gone, but I just called Napa, and they've got one for $20. It's about 60 miles ahead of me. Only 4 miles up the highway, so we're gonna slap that in. I don't really care. It's not like it's leaking gas, but I don't want to throw a you know, P4 or whatever check engine light in the meantime, which it still might do for running lean or something. So we're gonna go ahead and find that and continue on. So nothing like a little drama in the middle of the desert. What, scenery change number 5. Got these cool mesas outside of New Mexico. Just came out of the snowy mountain parts of Arizona. So this is the whole interesting part about this trip. You know, you start in mountainous green, California, get through the valley, and then into the snowy mountains, mesas. I'm not looking forward to the boring plains in the Midwest, but I guess that's just all part of it. Well, holy Napa in the middle of New Mexico had an E39 gas cap for like $20. And they weren't, when you typed it in on Google, they were like 10 miles off from where the location was. So I've just been driving down a road looking for Napa, and I found it, and they had it, and it fit. So I'm back. Again, gas cap, not the end of the world, but you know, I've got a couple of 1,000 miles left, so that probably would have thrown an engine code or two. So hey, crisis averted. Me being a dumbass, you know, it happens. All right, first town in a while. So that was much Arizona to New Mexico. We're in Albuquerque now, or I'm in Albuquerque. This is like the first, turn or something. I guess pretty much you just go through on 40 and stay on 40 East, and that will take you towards OKC. But yeah, it's been a while out of the desert, I guess. It's going to make a turn. And there's a plane. I feel like I've seen helicopters get transported like that, but not a small plane. Pretty neat. And then you have this shit. This has been the past 5 miles. Texas. I've been in Texas for probably about an hour now. As you can see, we've got nothing and wind turbines, which is, mostly what the top of Texas is, honestly. We're just going to breeze through here and head out the other side into Oklahoma. It's been a while since I've seen some wind turbines. I used to build them back in the day, probably 3 years ago. I spent about 5 years out in Texas and Oklahoma in the Midwest building wind turbines. So this is kind of not really the old stomping grounds, but it looks like it. A bunch of flat areas, spinning windmills, and a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get through this bit. There's not a whole lot going on out here. And like I said, not a whole lot to see. Pretty boring part of the drive. Not super stimulating. So that is, I guess I'm at the northern neck of Texas. I think I probably have another 150 miles through here. But interesting views, but could be better. If you're not used to seeing the wind turbines, they're pretty cool. They're obviously way bigger up close than they are from the road. And definitely let you know that you have entered the southern or the Midwest of the United States. So, still pretty neat. Car update, getting 23.5 miles per gallon. Temp outside's like 73, so, I don't know if it likes it better or worse. But, again, no issues yet. Alright, so just did what I think is the last fuel stop for the day. Popped the hood, obligatory. Checked the oil for the first time on this trip, and it really wasn't low at all. I added a little bit just to say I did, just to check that box. But I don't really think it needed. All the other fuels look great. It wasn't dripping anything. And like I said, this is a 200,000 mile, 20-year-old BMW that's not either leaking and or burning oil at sustained highway speeds for almost 1,200 miles. That's really impressive. And again, it's making this more of an adventure for me than it is for the car. The car has been doing its part. I'm the one that's more tired at this point. So we're gonna head to OKC for the night. Try to get out of Texas, and probably try to call it a night. I think when I get back to the hotel room, I'm gonna grab the record books and go through those just to see what the maintenance was or wasn't for the past few years, and to just kind of familiarize myself more with the car. So stay tuned. Here's another one. Texas, 34.7. I didn't see him on Waze, but it says he's up here. Where's he at? I think it's real far away, but this is the problem. Driving at night, these headlights are terrible. It doesn't really show it on the video, but they're early xenon running lights and halogen high beams. So, I mean, they're both garbage. I mean, the lenses need to be cleaned off a little bit, but, you know, it's tough on these dark, long stretches. You know, you think you're going fast, you look down, you're going under the speed limit because you can't see more than 20, 30 feet in front of you. And then the radar detector goes off, and, you know, obviously you can't see anything. So, well, I'm hoping that wasn't a false alarm. It's more interesting when it actually picks them up. And I should be passing them. Let's see, give it another second. Maybe he's actually shooting, and he's not just keeping it on. I slowed down to the speed limit, which is boring. Oh, picked him up again. These undulating hills might disrupt the signal a little bit. The other thing that happens is, you know, they'll keep the radar on after they've pulled someone over. But you know, back in New Mexico, it did save me. You know, the escort's really great at picking up. I mean, mostly what this is yeah, speed traps, but picking up troopers coming in the opposite direction that are shooting radar into opposing traffic really is really where you get your money's worth. But out here, you know, the signals are so good that it could be miles and miles away, which is what you want, but, you know, sometimes a little bit of a false alarm. You know, if you're watching the truckers, watching brake lights, watching your rearview mirror to make sure they're not coming up behind you, that's a big one. Can't tell me how many times I've seen cars get pulled over because they're not looking in the rearview mirror. And we're actually going across the Oklahoma border right now, so that could be a part of it. There it is, Oklahoma border. And yeah, I don't see anyone, but you know, you gotta pay attention. And when you're tired at night, that thing definitely wakes you up better than any caffeine. All right, so I made it to somewhere outside Oklahoma City, and that's all I'm gonna do for today. That's a bunch of miles, and there's a bar stool at Chili's with my name on it, and it's a shame because I have to get up soon. So we're gonna do the food thing, go to sleep.